Today is Thursday, May 14th. Welcome to this edition of Nevada County Now. The Nevada County Superintendent of Schools put out a press release to answer questions about graduation, summer meal distributions, and the reopening of schools next year. Graduations will be handled by each school district or charter school. Each district will be sending out details of how their ceremonies will be handled, but they will ensure that they are all in line with the governor's orders and Nevada County Public Health Department guidelines. School districts utilizing the central kitchen are planning to continue meal distribution throughout the summer for their students. Distribution sites may be consolidated during the summer months. Again, specific information will be sent to you by your school district. The opening of schools for the 2020-2021 school year will depend on the governor's orders and directions from the Nevada County Public Health Department. At this time, though, all Nevada County schools are planning to open on their scheduled start dates for next school year. It is highly likely schools will start with social distancing protocols in place. All of our local schools are currently formulating physical spacing and scheduling options to address these protocols. As schools receive guidance from the state and local officials, more specific information will be sent out to parents and the community. The first day of Nevada County schools for the 2020-2021 school year will all occur between August 17th and August 19th, 2020. Next Thursday, May 21st, County of Nevada Office of Emergency Services and YubaNet are hosting a virtual town hall covering topics related to wildfire prevention and preparedness in western Nevada County. The community is invited to ask questions of panelists representing the best of the Ready Nevada County effort and the wildfire preparedness community. OES is coordinating with the town of Truckee and will host a similar virtual event with a focus on eastern Nevada County residents in the near future. OES Program Manager Paul Cummings said, "While coronavirus provides an element of complexity, it shouldn't stop us from doing our part to get ready for wildfire season. The threat of wildfire will be here regardless of what phase of reopening we are in." Here is a list of confirmed panelists, which include fire chiefs from multiple districts, as well as Paul Cummings, OES Program Manager, and Lieutenant Robert Jacobs, Emergency Operations Coordinator. Questions can be sent in advance to townhall@yubanet.com. The free green waste disposal program run by the FireSafe Council of Nevada County begins this weekend. It runs Sunday through Tuesday from May 17th through June 27th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. There are 3 locations, one in Alta Sierra on Francis Drive, one in Penn Valley at the Penn Valley Rodeo Grounds, and one in Grass Valley at the Rise Gold site on Brunswick Road. They accept tree and plant trimmings, weeds, leaves, and branches. They will not take Scotch broom, poison oak, blackberries, tree stumps, root balls, or items greater than 6 inches in diameter. In conjunction with this green waste program, they are also allowing free wood chip pickup Friday and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., but only at the Penn Valley and Rise Gold sites. The green waste program is still in need of volunteers. If you have some time, they ask that you register through the Connecting Point Volunteer Hub by visiting volunteerhub.connectingpoint.org. This pandemic has forced a shift in the way we work, with many people working from home and a large number of meetings taking place virtually. This has made it even more clear that our internet infrastructure in this county needs to be addressed. I talked with Sam Corey, a reporter for the Union, who has been working on a story about how our county is addressing this problem and the challenges it faces in doing so. So I'm joined today by Sam Corey, a reporter for the Union. How are you doing today, Sam?
Good. How are you, Cole?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining me today. The general gist is that the county is working to improve our broadband connectivity at this point. What's the progress with that?
Yeah, no question. The county has been trying for a long time, at least over a decade, to try to get really strong internet, if not broadband, to the county, to pretty much all residents and businesses. This is a really, really large task, and it's been a priority. And with the pandemic, it's only become further a priority for many people, representatives and leaders of local nonprofits. Essentially, right now there are two projects going on. There's a $27 million Bright Fiber project trying to hook up about 2,000 homes to high-speed internet. It's along Highway 174 from about Idaho, Maryland to Chicago Park. And then there's another project the Nevada County Fiber Incorporated is running. It's about $125,000. They're trying to connect about 25 homes and businesses around Red Dog and Banner Quaker Hill Road. That's all coming from the reporting from John Arona with the union.
Gotcha. Okay. And so what has been sort of the major roadblocks to, getting going and stepping up with that?
Yeah, I mean, for one, this is a huge issue. It's an issue across the country. And while the current administration has actually made it a priority, they said it's been a priority, it hasn't followed through necessarily through its legislation.
Sorry to interrupt you, but by current administration, you mean at the federal level?
That's right, the Trump administration.
Okay.
The FCC has prioritized it. I know they have said that rural internet, having internet access, strong internet access in rural areas across the country is a big priority for them. But again, in terms of legislation, it just hasn't gotten through Congress. So on the state level, there's also been priorities. More recently, the state government has created a task force to close the digital divide. This is particularly on like the education front. So it's taken up by the education superintendent. So there's like priorities here, but it hasn't exactly moved through. And a lot of it, according to Supervisor Heidi Hall, is related to blockades with the CPUC, the California Public Utilities Commission, essentially not giving enough access to localities to institute broadband as they'd like.
Gotcha. Okay, and one of the things that I had encountered in my living in a rural area, not being able to have very good internet, and some of the people that I had talked to, they'd mentioned that there's jurisdictional issues between, what utilities get to provide access in certain places. Does your story cover anything about that, or do you know anything about that?
Yeah, the county has a sort of like which providers are allocated to which areas. I'm actually sort of in the process of reporting on that still, talking to those providers, seeing what they offer. The biggest thing is, if it's not fiber internet, typically it's not consistent. It's not terribly strong. It won't get you through some tough times, like the power shutoffs that we had in the fall, for instance. Robert Trent of Sierra Commons Business Igniter talked about how they have Comcast, they have good internet, but it's not stable during a real shoddy time or a time that's difficult. And so, they've tried to connect themselves to the fiber cable, but it costs a ton of money and they just can't afford it. And so a lot of people are in that boat. Some of the better services you can get, it seems, again, is a little bit preliminary on my reporting, but it just costs a decent amount of money. I know people can go in like groups. I was speaking to Gil Matthew of the Economic Resource Council, and he said, actually, I apologize. This was Tim Corkins of the Economic Resource Council, the executive director. And he said, a group of about 5 households came together and they got pretty strong internet access, they reduced the price of themselves, but it was still $20,000. So a lot of people don't have that. Yeah, and they don't, even paying it over time, that's a lot of money. So, if you want sort of better access, it's going to cost a premium.
Yeah. Well, that's too bad that's kind of where we're at right now, but that seems to be the case. So do you have advice for people that want to try to get better internet? What can they do? Is there representatives they should contact or some other way of going about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you probably hit the nail on the head with representatives to contact. This is a key issue. Everybody in the county cares about it. They've cared about it for a long time. They are very receptive to it. They're sympathetic. They're like, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's get this done. We want to do it. Really, what it might take, there's a little bit of speculation, but it might just take enough cooperation and collaboration between other rural communities, reaching out to them in addition to your own supervisor. But certainly this is something that, everybody cares about, they're on board with. So they know it, they care it, it's a high priority. Right now with the pandemic, with people being sheltered in place, it's an even higher priority. Um, so it's seen by many people in leadership as a utility. And yeah, I mean, folks can try to, I don't know, I guess either create groups or galvanize support. It's there. It's just getting the funding and getting, it seems like state and federal leaders to listen.
Well, thank you for taking the time to join me today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Cole. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Sam. Look out for the full story coming out in the Saturday edition of The Union, or visit them online at theunion.com. The U.S. Forest Service has released Legacy, a film highlighting the contribution made by Chinese railroad workers to the Transcontinental Railroad over 150 years ago, calling attention to the issues of erasure which have surrounded this history for much of the time since. Legacy premiered in January at the Wild and Scenic Film Festival in Nevada City and is now available for the public for viewing at the Forest Service official YouTube channel. We'll leave you today with a short clip from this film. We encourage you to check it out and also read the article in the Union. Remember, stay safe, take care of each other, and we'll see you tomorrow.
In 2010, my father passed away, and some family and business took me to China. I'm firstborn American Chinese on my dad's side of the family, and my wife and I both moved there to Hong Kong and Beijing, where we lived for almost 5 years. We really enjoyed our time, but it was time to move on. And so we moved back to Lake Tahoe. Pretty much 90% of my work is spent in the mountains here. It's interesting, I moved here from China to pursue work, and being back here on Donner Summit, where I've climbed and knew a little bit about the history, whether it be the Donner Party or how the railroads were built by the Chinese here. And I'm like, oh, I'm not the first person to move here from China and try to make a living and a better life for myself.